Some people like to live by the KISS concept, meaning keep it simple, stupid. A lot of these optics are pretty simple. You could put it on a kind of go-to rifle, but this one in particular, the Trijicon Reflex sight, is pretty stupid. So what sights do we have here on the table? We have an Aimpoint CompM2, the Trijicon Reflex, and a SU-231, which is a military designation, but this is an EOTech 553. Now, why are these optics on the same table? Well, these are all collectible kind of clone optics, and they come from the same era. They come from the SOPMOD Block 1 or the SOPMOD Block 1.5. So kind of the 90s to the early 2000s sort of rifles. So if you're trying to clone that sort of era of rifle, these are some of the non-magnified optics that you might want to go for. Now, all these optics have been discontinued. If you've watched my previous video on called Is Surplus or Are Surplus Optics Worth It? You'll know that the warranty is gone and these will have a kind of a discount because they're older and they're used and they're discontinued. However, there's a premium on them because they are more collectible. If you're looking for a good optic for around the $200, $300 range, and you only care about it working, then avoid these optics. Go for like a Hollow Sun or maybe those new SIG ones, or even like some used newer production aim points. But do not go for these if you're looking for something practical. Now, these sights are all sort of collectible to me, and cloning is kind of like stamp collecting. Yes, you can use them, but at the end of the day, these are not practical. This one in particular is terrible, and I love owning it. So that's what collecting is for me. I don't care about which one's the best, which one can sight people in best. It's about just having them all because I like collecting these sort of things. So now that I've collected them, we can do a video on telling you a little bit about them, and if you want to go and buy one or buy all of them, this will be kind of a guide for that. So this is the CompM2. It uses one of these, it's like the DL1-3N batteries. They're kind of hard to find, but you can get them online. They're like $8. They're lithium, so you put them in there, and they last about 10,000 years, or 10,000 hours, which is about 1 year. This EOTech 553 uses two CR2032 batteries. These are the ones that you put in like your Surefire flashlights. I don't remember how long it lasts, but you've got to change the batteries and you got to make sure you turn this one off. With this Aimpoint, you can leave it on for a year, change it later. This one you're gonna have to change more often. And it will blink when it's telling you that the battery is low. And the brightnesses, you'll be messing around with them, so I don't really know how long these last, especially since they use optic as well. And then this last Trijicon Reflex sight, if you know a little bit about it, doesn't take any batteries, which is kind of cool. That's why I wanted it, because I don't have any sights like this. So like the ACOGs, you know, Trijicon made this sight. Actually, it's considered an ACOG, there's ACOG on it, but this reflex sight is non-magnified, and it has a clear panel on the front. It gathers light, and it will make this orange illuminated dot. This orange illuminated dot will change brightness based on how much light is going through the front panel. So the idea of having it in the front is that's what you're aiming it at. So the brightness should auto adjust to, the brightness of the dot should auto adjust to the environment that you're shooting at, right? But with many issues with the ACOG, you'll know that the brightness is not always what you want. So in the ACOG sight, the magnified one that has a fiber optic tube on the top, there's images of soldiers that actually cover it with tape because it's too bright, right? And it'll be kind of, the reticle or the chevron will get too bloomed out and it won't be as crisp as you want it. The other issue is if you're in a dark room and you're shooting outside, especially in a desert environment, which is where a lot of these optics were used, because you're in the dark room, the dot will be pretty dim, but outside it's gonna be pretty bright and it's gonna get washed out. You're not gonna see it, right? So there's not really a fix to that. Okay, well, they did make a fix, right? This is kind of a really janky Band-Aid. And what this is, it's a polarized lens, okay? It's two polarized lenses and it can rotate. It can rotate. So if you've ever taken like your 3D glasses or sunglasses and you tilt it, you'll notice that some of the light gets blocked out. And if you orient these at 90 degrees, it's gonna be pitch black. So the idea was that because the dot would be dim in a bright environment and you're shooting out a room, you would use this polarized filter and orient it in such a way to dim the environment enough to see the dot. So that doesn't sound like a great solution because now you can't really even see your target. You can see your dot, but you can't see your target. So this is kind of a stupid fix sort of thing, all right? It's cool because it's like, it's an interesting sort of physics problem, but at the end of the day, it's not very practical. And then you might ask, what would you do at night? At night, this has tritium in it, so the tritium will glow at night and you'll be able to see. However, you know, tritium has a half-life and it will decay over time. And then, you know, in 10 years, it's gonna be too dim to even see anything. So this sight is not, especially if you get some surplus ones and are discontinued, slowly, none of these sights will be able to be night capable. Okay, so that's what's wrong with this one. This one is definitely a not buy if you're trying to use it for home defense, trying to use it for anything, but you're trying to, like, you know, cosplay as a 90s sort of soldier, 2000 soldier, like you go to shooting competition, then yeah, go ahead and grab it. Okay, so what's wrong with this EOTech? There's also stuff wrong with this. This EOTech, first of all, there's the controversial temperature sort of point of aim shift. I don't know if that's, you know, well-founded, but that's, you know, that's one of those things. Second of all, these batteries, if you notice the newer EOTechs, the batteries are oriented perpendicular to the axis of the barrel. These are now perpendicular, or these were perpendicular to the barrel. So when you have the gun recoiling, even though the AR-15 does not recoil that much, over time, it going back and forth like this would dislodge the battery and its contact, and when it loses contact, the sight will turn off temporarily, and then you have no more sight picture. So it was a bad idea to have it oriented this way, and the contacts and the springs get loose over time. So you might have a gun that, you know, you put on your rifle, you zero it, once you shoot it, the dot's gone. Second of all, the screen or the glass here is starting to delaminate. The delamination looks like these little worms coming from the boundaries of the glass. And this is not, the delamination on this is not bad at all, but on some it's worse. And in the areas of delamination, you will not be able to see your dot. So even though that these have kind of a big window, that window becomes smaller and smaller. And I don't think there's really any fix to the delamination. You can't send it in. And, you know, I think a lot of the sites suffer from that issue, right? So even if you take care of it, it just delaminates by itself. Okay, so that's what's wrong with this one. Now the Aimpoint, honestly, this one looks like it's in the shittiest condition. It has been knocked around, but there's nothing wrong with this one. This one is actually in pretty good condition. Yeah, it lasts only 10,000 years. If you watch, was it Hoplophile? He shows that these Aimpoint CompM2s aren't great for night vision, but you know, who's actually doing that? But you know, during the day, these are pretty clear, they're pretty bright, and they're pretty nice. The one thing that's also nice about this, because it uses that DL1-3N or the 1-3N battery, that is a lithium battery. And because it's a lithium battery, there's not really any risk of it corroding like the alkaline batteries. So if you get someone in the comments on my previous optics video talked about the Aimpoint CompM2 using alkaline batteries, that's nice. However, those batteries can corrode, and if it corrodes inside the tube's busted, or maybe the chips are busted, and you're not gonna be able to use it anymore. So as a side note for the CompM2, if you have one, change it out with a like an Energizer lithium battery. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but I use those in my CompM2, and I also use that in my PBS-14, because if you're gonna spend $400, $800, or even more than $1,000 or $2,000 on some optics or night vision, you might as well protect it, right? Okay, so this Aimpoint still works perfectly, and the glass was in nice condition. It came with these rubber caps when I bought this one surplus, and it has a kill flash, and yeah, the glass is in great condition because someone took care of it. But that's something that you'll have to watch out for. Some of these get pretty scratched up. So yeah, I would say practically speaking, this Aimpoint's a good buy if you want a practical / collector's sort of item, but all these items can be collector's items. Some of them can be a little bit more than the other. I would say these are all kind of in the same range of $300, $200. You can get the SU231 or the EOTech 553. Some people like this optic, but if you want to be like a pure clonist, or whatever we're called, cloner, these come in a tanidized or in tan configuration, and people see that more on their rifles. So if you want one of those, I think you have to pay about double the price. Okay, and last, where do you get these optics? Again, eBay, gun broker, gun shows, things like that. It's best to find someone who doesn't know what they have, which is becoming less and less these days, but you might be able to get a good deal on this. I got this EOTech for $200, which I think is a pretty good price. I got this Aimpoint actually for $200. And I also got this kind of, it's brand new, or new old stock Trijicon for $200. But if you look at them now, they're probably more like $300, $400. So if you are patient, you can get it. I've been collecting these things for a long time and been looking on the internet for them a long time. So if you have any questions about, you know, where to snag them, or if you have one that you see and you have a price and you have the condition, yeah, let me know. I'll tell you if it's a good buy or not. Okay, so thanks for watching, and please leave questions and give it a like if you liked it. Take care, bye.